Welcome everybody. So we're going to be continuing on with the elements again. This time we're looking at form. So form is 3D. It encloses a volume. It has height, width, and depth. So if you have an object and you can measure how tall it is, how wide it is, and how deep it is, then it's a form, not a shape. Now those two are related, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but go ahead and make sure that you've highlighted the definition for form. So just like shape, forms can come in geometric and organic. So they're generally related to shapes. It's the 3D version of a shape. A lot of times it's built from shapes. So it's related. It's a 3D version of a shape. It can come in geometric, such as a cube that's built out of squares. So the square is the shape and the cube is the form. Or it could be like a pyramid. So that's built out of triangles, right? So it can come in geometric, such as a cube, or it can come in organic, like a tree or a bird, something that you can measure the 3D space of. You can measure how wide, how tall, and how deep. So this one right here, where it's kind of, got this like amoeba looking edge and it all directions kind of pulls out. This artwork right here would be an organic ceramic sculpture. And then this one right here that is very blocky and very clearly you can see the edges well defined, that one would be geometric. So in your section over here, I want you to come up with two things that you think would be cool to make. That one of them's got to be geometric and then one of them's organic. So it might be something where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to draw a cube. So maybe you want to draw a cube. You can start with a square, have your line come out the corner and drop it down. This should be the same length as this. Then we connect it. And then this line and this line should kind of be the same. And then we connect it. That's how you make a cube. Now, it doesn't have to be a cube. Maybe you want to make a pyramid, right? You could make a pyramid as well. Okay. But you want to have something that's geometric, and then you want to have something that's organic. So since I mentioned tree, I'm going to add in a picture of a tree, right? I'm going to add in small things. And then for the next part, the static or dynamic, again, it's very similar to when you're looking at a shape. So very similar to shape and how they are used to create static or dynamic feel in an artwork. Static feels stable, like it's not going to fall over. So like this artwork right here, these ones feel very stable. They have, the bottom is very flat on the table, so it feels stable. Dynamic feels like it's in a state of movement, perhaps like it will fall over if it's not really going to. So when you're looking at dynamic, this one right here by Jennifer McCurdy, like even though it's stable at the base, like it can stand on the table, all of these like flowy lines and everything, it still encloses space, but it looks like it's rotating or spinning. It looks like it's in motion. So again, on the side, I want you to do one that's static and one that's dynamic. So think of, these examples. If you were gonna make a vase that was static, what would it look like? Maybe you wanna make something that looks like, maybe you wanna have multiple openings. So maybe you want something that looks more like a Lego, kinda, right? So maybe you want something like that, and that it would be static because it's got that flat bottom. And then maybe for, maybe you don't want quite as much of an opening as that, but maybe you want there to be just like a little bit of flare at the top. Like maybe you wanted to make something that looks more like a flower or have petals or something, right? So what kinds of things would you want to make that are static or dynamic? All right, make good choices. Thanks, everybody.